Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia Simone, and let's get into this season finale where they got it going on. Child, some of everything went down in this episode. Let's get on into it. Now, before we do, of course, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And I want to take a second to address something that's going on the channel. I think we get ready to blow up because people is trying to hack me. Long story short, what had happened was someone emailed me about a sponsorship some months ago. Ever since I got this email about the sponsorship with some kind of a corrupted link in it, I've been having problems. And now that has escalated to there are some sort of bots pretending to be me in the comments, telling y'all about click something and go to a WhatsApp. That ain't me. Don't click that. Don't call that number. Don't follow them up. That's not me. I don't know who it is. I don't know where they came from. I done blocked a couple of them. I just want y'all to know so don't nobody get got. That's not me. And you know, I be trying to protect my little $12 and I don't want nobody to get you for yours either. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Of course, I want to shout out my super thanks. So shout out to Yvette Greer 2 times, Amber Lede 3 times, Sorrow Self Love, Felicia Jordan Jackson, and Tanya Fuller. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. So the episode opens up with Mel at home getting a massage and Stormy comes over. She said she forgot that she had a guest coming today. She has her massage therapist go open the door and she said Stormy is just gonna have to sit and watch her get her massage. You ain't forgot worth a damn, but okay. Stormy comes in and sits down. Hey girl, how you doing? I ain't seen you since the photo shoot. Yeah, everything is going well. Let's get into your tea. Yeah, you and Martell went on that trip, right? How'd your trip go? Mel said, yeah, the trip was good. You know, all their moms went, all the kids went. They had a good time, so the trip was good. But after the trip was a problem. The aftermath has become an issue. Stormy said, what aftermath? What happened? Mel said Martell was sharing my business and conversations with his child's mother, and I didn't like that. Stormy said, well, how you find that out? Mel said, because it was on social media, girl. Stormy said, well, what happened? Because I be on social media and I missed that. What happened? So Mel starts out explaining, well, first of all, he told her that I had COVID. And do you know how many people have had COVID or have it or know people who've been affected by it and how many people died from it? So all of those are reasons to share with someone that you may be around, that you've been exposed, but okay. She said, and then we were on the phone and I was checking him about something and he starts going off about why you starting trouble and he called me her name, meaning Arion. Mel said she just laughed it off. She didn't think anything of it. All I said was, no, honey, that's not me. Stormy is shocked. Stormy said, do you really think that was an accident or do you think he meant to call you that girl's name? Mel said, I don't know and I don't care. The issue is he decided to go and share that with Arion after the fact. And then Arion turned around and decided she was going to share that with the internet. She said this is why she keeps her boundaries up. And in the confessional, she said she's over Martell sharing her medical information once again. She said, sometimes you think people have grown and changed, but they're still the same immature individuals they always were. Stormy said, well, since the wound is open, let's go ahead and pour some salt in that mother. What's going on social media with the whole him and Sheree situation? Mel said, I don't know. That's the same question I've been asked by multiple blog sites, and I'm going to keep it all the way 100 because I really don't care like that for real. But I did tell them that, you know, they all acting like this is the first time I've seen him with another woman. Like, he was with another woman during our marriage and pictures of him and that woman surfaced during our marriage. I mean, and then he went and had a baby by her. So y'all act like this is the first time I've seen him with another woman. I get that the intent was to come across unbothered and unfazed and I'm not affected by this, but that whole response screams bitter and bothered. In the confessional, she said she doesn't know Sheree or have any problem with her, but she's sure that people would like for her to because people like drama. So people can keep asking the same question, but she's going to keep giving the same answer. I hope not, because that answer is giving bitter. Well, since Stormy is on a roll, she kept going. She said, well, you know his event is tonight. You going? Mel said, I don't have a desire to be around someone who causes discord and disrupts the peace in my life. Ain't you just been on a whole vacation with this mother? She said, I don't know that I can really support like that when it comes to me knowing the things Martell has done. She said it doesn't sit well with her to go support because he showed her after the trip that he's still the same messy person. This is low-key giving. This trip didn't shift the dynamic between us like I wanted it to. Stormy is in the confessional saying she is not familiar with divorce. She doesn't have a whole lot of experience with divorce, but in having conversations with Mel and watching Mel and Martel, it looks pretty damn sucky. Mel said she was great before she let him in her space and she's going to be great after. And we move on to see Martell planning the event space for his wine launch. Along with Martell is Chris Fletcher. The party is tonight. They're going to see everything set up. And he has brought Chris as an extra set of eyes so he don't get an extra foot up his ass. They're walking into this space that is absolutely beautiful. It overlooks the city of Huntsville. It's a beautiful view. It's a beautiful venue. It's everything. It's everything but being decorated by Melnica the Magnificent because she is nowhere to be found. Martell said, yeah, she handled a lot of the stuff in Atlanta because he's not familiar with Atlanta, but in Huntsville, they back in his stomping ground. So, of course, he called a cousin. I said I should have known when Martell was hemming and hawing about that budget, he about to call a family member. Cousin Kim, come here, come here. We gonna need you to gift your services. You know this for grandmama. In addition to Cousin Kim and Chris Fletcher, Destiny has showed up for support. He said because things didn't go so perfectly in Atlanta, he want to make sure he don't miss nothing in Huntsville. The one thing he's trying to miss is an ass whooping. Well, Martell invited Destiny for support, but Destiny came for the free tea. She told Martell, this looks really good. It looks like you know what you're doing. Martell said, well, you know, when you got good people around you, good things like this happen for you. Destiny said, good people like who? Your new boo? Martell said, oh, you know, we ain't got to talk about all that. Let's talk about the wine launch. Let's talk about what we here for, the wine launch. Great vibes only. Destiny said, but that is great vibes. You have a new friend, someone who seemed to have piqued your interest. Martell said, yeah, you know, she a good woman, so you know. Now, Destiny dropped to a whole new level of messy. When she says to Martell, oh, okay, that's good. Well, tell me what you think about this. And pulls out her phone and starts to play a clip from an interview that Mel did, saying that she has no feelings about who Martell is dating. They act like this is the first time she's seen Martell with another woman. There were pics of him and another woman when they were married. So why would you do that? Martell gets upset and said, how dare she speak on anything I'm doing? All the people that she's had babysitting our kids, and there's been a lot of them, I've never met any of them. What the hell is he talking about? I don't know if this is edited a certain way and he's responding to a different clip that we didn't hear played, but why is he talking about the people she's had keeping the kids and she's talking about, I don't care about him being with that woman, I done seen him with women before. Like, what? In the confessional, Martell says that he and Sheree are just enjoying each other and she's a great person. That's why he wasn't hesitant to bring his children around her because of the kind of person that she is. And it'll be great if they move forward. It would be great for him, his kids, for everyone involved, but they are just in the beginning stages. So basically you can say that this stranger that you just started seeing is acceptable and fit to be around your children because your judgment is excellent and impeccable. But anybody that she chooses to bring around the children is questionable, unfit, and worthy of dragging her into court for. Yeah, I hate to be the one to break this to you, but your baby mama is an excellent indication of your lack of judgment, especially in regard to character. And furthermore, the same way that Martell told Destiny he didn't want to talk about Sheree, he should have told her, I don't want to talk about Mel. I don't understand how Destiny calls herself Martell's friend and then turns around and feeds the drama and contention between him and his ex-wife. These people have children to raise together. As a friend, your job is to help your friend block the bullshit. And if I can't help you block the bullshit and you're going to have to deal with it, then I got your back. But I'll be damned if I'm going to be the delivery driver for the bullshit. But you delivered that shit like dominoes and then stood there and smirked while he unraveled. What kind of friend does that? What kind of friend says, I know y'all got enough issues for 3 generations and 4 head of churn to raise, but I'm going to add fuel to y'all fire? Who does that? Martell goes on to say he doesn't have his children around Sheree or introducing her as someone that he plans to marry. They're just chilling. So then why would you have your children around her? If the relationship has achieved no definition, depth, or direction, why would you say, I'm going to have my kids around somebody I'm just kicking it with who could be here today and gone tomorrow? Why? Perfect judgment. Help me understand. And he kept going to defend his maturity. He said that what Mel does not know is that he's been in counseling for the last year, but he doesn't advertise that. So he has matured and he is working on continuing his growth. Martell said he ain't worried about who she's dating at all, so I don't know why she worried about me. Destiny said, well, then why didn't you tell her before it hit social media? Girl, what? Why are you this messy? You got more questions for him than you got answers for us. What are you asking him? Why would he go to Mel to say, hey, I just want to let you know before it hits social media, I got a girlfriend. Like, do you just want to see them fight? Martell looked at her and said, what? Because it's not her business. He said, we can barely co-parent right now. Why am I telling her about who I'm dating? As far as I'm concerned, she need to be focused on us co-parenting like civilized people. That's what we need to figure out. But at this point, I gotta go get dressed so I don't miss my own damn party. So bye. Why would you come sowing these seeds of discord? Let me show you what she said. You want to hear what she said? What you think about it? Why would you do that? On the night where he's having his launch, where she's expected to be there, it's like you are setting the groundwork for them to fight. So we move on to Tisha and Marsau's house, where Tisha is home pulling out outfit options to go to Martell's wine launch, and Marsau comes in the room to be no help with picking out his own clothes. Well, while they're picking out outfits, they sit and talk everybody's business but their own. Tisha said, first things first, let's get this outfit together because I want us to look like a couple and not like 2 separate people who just happened to meet there. In other words, I don't want a replay of our launch, okay, where old girl in the red dress was all in your face and I'm crying at our party. I don't want no problems. I want it to be very clear. You and I is we. Marsau said, nah, I'm good. We know you don't give a damn. He starts whining like a teenage boy about, well, no, Reese and Martell are the dressers. I'm not a dresser like that. If you don't get a stylist, a tailor, or something, you too grown for this. Ain't you said you got $17 million? Take 200-300 of them, go somewhere, and let somebody help you get an outfit. Tisha said, I should have got Maurice to come over here and pick out your outfit. In other words, I should have got Maurice to come over here and give you one of them pep talks I like to ask him to have with you when you get to acting stupid. He is obviously intimidated because he said there are 3 things to be expected at Martell's event: wine, fireworks, and dress to the nines. He said he don't know what to expect after that damn fox Martell wore last time. And of course, they showed us the clip of Martell looking at himself in the mirror like, boy, you look good. Tisha asked Marsau how he thinks everything is going to go, since this is the entire group's first time getting back together since the whole incident at Madani. Child, y'all just had a whole incident at Black. Y'all need to be working through that stuff while y'all talking about everybody else. Marsau said he has no expectations other than the guys are going to have a good time and the girls are going to fight. Tisha said, well, why do you think that? Marsau said, because I can't think of a single event where there wasn't some clash of the titans amongst the ladies. And of course, we saw flashbacks from season 1 all the way up to today. Tisha said, well, no, I think the girls are fine right now. You would. You think dysfunction is normal. You would think y'all are fine. Tisha said Stormy and Destiny made up. Marsau said, how you know that? She said, because Stormy told me. He said, oh, so they Gucci now? Tisha said, yeah, they are. And I'm sure that Gucci bag helped. She said, and then Mel and I are cordial. Well, if by cordial you mean friends in hell, then okay. Tisha asked, well, do you think Kimmy is going to come? Marsau said he had talked to Maurice the day before, and Kimmy sounded like she was in good spirits, so he did expect them to come. As a matter of fact, he expected some of everyone to come. This might be a who's who of Huntsville kind of event because this is Martell's wine launch. Tisha said it is a really big deal for Martell, and Marsau said, he's been getting a lot of people coming into Black who've been asking, are they going to carry Martell's wine, Inez? He said, I don't know if they being shady, I don't know if they're trying to be funny or what, but they said absolutely they plan to carry his brand. In the confessional, Marsau said he doesn't feel like their products are in competition at all, because with Black, you toast to excellence, and maybe with Inez, you can wind down on a wind down Wednesday. Tisha said, we're definitely not the same. Marsau said, not even close. Y'all have the blueprint on how to be a shady friend. So then Marsau gets into what he really want to talk about. He said, I think I saw an interview that Mel did. You don't think you saw, you're probably tuned into the muck alive, but I think I saw an interview. No, what he's doing is testing Tisha's temperature. Let me see if you won't get mad when I say I watched this interview. Let me see. He said, I think I saw an interview where they asked Mel how she's dealing with Martell's new boo thing. Tisha said, oh yeah, because Sheree came out and confirmed it. Oh yes. Oh, you want to talk about Mel now? Now you want to talk about the heifer. Okay. Marsau said, yeah, well, I guess Mel did an interview and basically said she was unbothered. Tisha said, yeah, but Mel never really shares what her true feelings are. Marsau said people think that there is a strength in being unbothered, and really there is not. And typically when you say I don't care, you really do care, because people don't respond to things that they don't care about. Marsau said after 12 years, 4 kids, a volatile relationship, being his lover and his secretary every day of the week, about a month after not seeing them no more, you hear your ex is moving on, and at a level up like this is probably not a great thing. Hold on, wait a minute, stop, because you went real fast, but you didn't go fast enough for me. Who was just seeing each other a month ago? What is Marsau talking about a month after y'all ain't dealing no more? Was the Marsau said, yeah, she probably felt better when he was leveling down, but the level up is probably kind of a gut punch. Tisha said, well, this will be interesting. Well, here's the thing. First thing, Martell is a highly strategic individual. So I think him being with Sheree is more about blocking than leveling. The truth is, nobody knows Mel's aspirations in regard to reality TV like Martell. Nobody. The whole reason this show exists is because she had a reality TV aspiration. Martell had a relationship with Carlos King that he leveraged to get this show. We also know that Carlos was the producer on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, I don't know if he was the producer on Real Housewives of Atlanta at the time that they pitched this to him, or at the time that Martell reached out to him, but we know that that is the shining star on his production resume. So, in my mind, I'm thinking Mel's ultimate goal was to become a Real Housewife of Atlanta. I think Martell's whole point and getting with Sheree is getting to Real Housewives of Atlanta before Mel. It's about proving a point. It's about a power play. Him getting with Sheree is the real coup de grace, F you, watch me pull rank. It's a chess move. And that's why, quite honestly, I never really bought that he and Sheree's relationship was sincere. That's why I sat right here and twiddled my damn thumbs while everybody is up in arms about these two look-at-me's carrying on the internet, because I just don't think that this relationship is sincere. I think that these are two people who both want to be in the spotlight. They're cross-marketing to each other's audiences and using each other's star power for their own benefit. That's what I think is going on here. So I don't think it was so much about, oh, he leveled up, he got Sheree, the OG housewife. I think it was a sticking it to Mel. I got Sheree. I got the OG housewife because you wanted to be a housewife of Atlanta, and I got to be in a house husband of Atlanta before you did. And then in regard to Tisha and Marsau, what I want to know is how come y'all can get along so well talking other people's business, but y'all can't manage a conversation and be getting ready to turn furniture over trying to have a conversation about y'all's own relationship? Help me understand. So we move on, and it's time for the wine launch. Martell looks like he had a really good turnout. Some of everybody was there. Of course, his mom was there. Of course, Uncle Sam and his wife, and a just in case S-whooping is in his pocket. Martell's other Uncle Dexter is there just in case they need somebody to pull Uncle Sam off Martell. Tiffany and Lewis are there looking like they want to be starting something. Stormy and Courtney came in with Courtney looking like, sit your $5 down before I make change. I said, if he don't look like Nino going to the wedding in New Jack City. We see Tisha and Marsau come in looking like exactly what she was trying to avoid. Two different people that just showed up at the same place. And then finally we see Martell arrive. He is wearing all black with a red and black tuxedo jacket and no furs. I guess he got the fur dragged up off his ass. You tried that bullshit in Atlanta. You wouldn't try that shit here at home. Now, all the ladies looked beautiful, but Stormy's dress was everything. Martell said he just wants the night to go perfectly. His whole family is here, and he don't want no problems with nothing. In other words, it don't take but two of these motherfuckers to get mad and tear everything up in this bitch. There goes my deposit, and here come the law. So then we see Tisha, Tiffany, and Stormy getting together just as phony as they want to be. Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing? So then we see Destiny step in. She's wearing a gold dress and a blonde wig. Tisha said, who is this? Because this ain't Destiny. She said this is Lola. Well, Destiny was starting earlier, so hopefully Lola is on a different vibe. Tisha's in the confessional talking about how this is an absolutely beautiful location. The view is everything. The ladies look beautiful. But the big question is, will Mel show up tonight? Why? Why is that the big question at Martell's wine launch? What? So Tiffany brings up that she participated in Stormy's photo shoot and that Mel came by and told them that she had had a visit with Destiny, and they were just so surprised. So Tiffany asked Destiny, are y'all cool? Are y'all not? Are y'all this one-dimensional? Are y'all not? Is there nothing else to talk about other than Mel? Is Mel coming? How's your relationship with Mel? Why is she the topic of all y'all's conversations? Destiny said, what do you mean? Tiffany said, are y'all hanging out? Destiny said, no, we're not hanging out. We agreed to disagree. It is what it is. Tiffany is sitting there looking dumb and looking around. Tisha said, yeah, adult shit. Destiny said, yeah, that part, and told Tiffany, don't ponder on it too long. You look stuck, baby. She said, we can be in the same room together. That's all you need to know. That's all that matters. Tisha yells out, we're Gucci. Destiny looked at her like she had to remember where she was at, because Tisha, you being messy. Tiffany said everything was just so peaceful at the peace party. I couldn't tell if y'all were really good or if you were faking or, what was that about? See, now, Tiffany gets on my last damn nerve, because when you curse her out, she's going to, oh my God, why are you talking to me like that? What did I do? I just asked that question. Tisha said, not faking. Destiny said, no, I was not faking. As a matter of fact, at the peace party, the only person who got on my nerves was you. Tiffany stood there looking side to side and pretending to be shocked at her second Sunday's finest. Girl, go to hell. Stormy, always one for the mess. Stormy said, well, Destiny, what did Tiffany do at the peace party? Destiny said, oh, typical Tiffany. She did that Tiffany rant that she does. And in the confessional, Destiny says, Tiffany is just vibe unaware. She just does not read the room. No, she does read the room. She just doesn't give a damn, which is exactly why you need to read her for ruffled, raggedy filth. Meanwhile, Chris Fletcher done finally got his hands on Marsau. Come here, let me holler at you, player. He pulls Marsau aside in front of the cameras to, hey, I need to talk to you because I've been getting a lot of heat about you putting my name in some story about I been in Atlanta with you when there's some picture of you floating around in a hotel bed. In other words, my wife is pissed off, and I'm not about to have these kind of problems at my house because you lying. And if you think I'm about to get put out my house to keep you in yours, you's a damn lie. So you can go ahead and clear this bullshit up now. Marsau starts fast talking Chris about some bullshit that he done sold Tisha. And he says, they were running some story about I was with some chick in Atlanta and I didn't like how the questions were coming at me. So I told her I was with a friend. And of course, we see the flashback of Marsau lying to Tisha. And in the confessional, Marsau is saying that Chris Fletcher didn't have to defend him, but he could have given an accurate account for the truth without inflection, tone, and specifying what he did or didn't see. So basically, he could have lied by omission for me. Marsau said he realizes that his own answer built doubt, but he just didn't feel like coming straight out and telling the truth about where he was and what he was doing because he didn't like being questioned. Marsau is absolutely full of shit. Chris said, well, these rumors done got so deep, they done put me in New York. Marsau said, oh, you were in New York? He said, no. I was in New York in November. But on January 4th, the date that this picture was taken of your back, I was in Atlanta with my wife when I met you. So let's just be real clear. Marsau said to Chris, you know I'm smart. You know I wouldn't make up a story and throw somebody's name in it that wasn't there at all. It sounds like the unspoken truth is that the truth is somewhere between the lines. Chris is basically saying, I ain't been there as long as he been there. There are some unaccounted for hours that ain't got nothing to do with me. My name is Bennett. I ain't in it. And then in the confessional, Marsau said, no, this issue with Chris Fletcher is not settled because now I know that I need to document my every moment with Chris. I need to go live the entire time I'm with Chris because Chris doesn't know how to answer a question without bias. Fool. What? You got to be out your natural mind to feel like this man should jeopardize his reputation and relationship in order to protect your lives. You're out of your mind. So we cut back over to the ladies and we see Tisha over asking, hey, have y'all heard from Mel? Why? Why? That lady told you she got to check her schedule. And if my schedule permits, then I'll be there. So if you don't see her here, she's somewhere with her schedule. Out of sight should be out of mind. So why is you going around asking people, but you heard from her? What you really want to know is how she's reacting to the news of Martell and Sheree. That's what you want to know. Stormy said, well, I talked to her earlier and I was trying to get her to come, but I don't know. Y'all think she coming? Girl, you talked to the lady today. The lady told you she ain't coming. Tiffany said, of course she's coming. She has to come. No, she doesn't. Tisha said, well, the 6 of us got together and had dinner and we asked her if she was coming and she said if her schedule allowed, then she would be here. Well, her schedule must be got her locked up and won't let her out. I just don't understand why there's this whole conversation centered around Mel. And is Mel coming? If y'all don't like her, y'all don't get along with her, y'all don't rock with her, why are y'all worried about her whereabouts? Like, talk amongst yourselves. Don't y'all all have everything going on? Ain't y'all supposed to be multi-millionaires with multiple businesses and great social lives? Talk about yourselves amongst yourselves. I don't get it. Stormy said, well, is Sheree coming? That's what I want to know. Tisha said, now that's a good question. And the answer to that would be hell no. Sheree done told Martell, you can go to hell or Alabama, whichever you like, but I ain't going to neither. So back over at the guys, Martell done walked up and interrupted this whole interrogation between Chris and Marsau. And Marsau turns the attention on to Martell. He said, dog, you by yourself? Well, that's one thing you and your wife got in common. Y'all gonna mind somebody else's business. Martell trying to play coy, but you know Sheree ain't took her feet off the table at that chateau yet. Stop, play with somebody else. Martell says that he and Sheree agreed that it was in the best interest of the wine for her to not attend because he wanted this whole event to be about the wine. And if she came, it was going to take the focus off of that because everybody is going to be all consumed with them dating. So they opted for her to stay home. In other words, her booking or appearance fee was not in the budget. So she sat this one out. Finally, we see Maurice and Kimmy arrive, and Kimmy don't look like what she's going through. Kimmy got that wig laid, that face laid, that waist snatched, and that man attached. You better go ahead, girl. So now that Kimmy is there, they're all snapping pictures together, and Martell decides it's time to make his speech. Well, Martell decided to prepare a speech this time. He said because in Atlanta he was unprepared and damn near met the Undertaker. He ain't got time for them games this time around. Well, he started reading the speech and he must have been nervous as hell because he's stumbling over the words and messing up, and he had to stop himself, take a deep breath, remind himself that he could read and he is safe, and start over. Martell starts his speech and he shares a beautiful picture of his grandmother, Inez, who the wine is named for. He honored all of her children by name, including Uncle Sam, and the ass whooping in his pocket. He thanked everyone for coming and hopes the wine will be loved by all in Swahili. And I can't say it, so I'm about to try. So then we see Kimmy and Maurice sit down with Stormy, her husband Courtney, and Destiny to break her news to them. Kimmy shares that the reason she was teary at the peace party is because of what she's going through, and that peace party was actually one of the hardest nights of her life, with her just kind of going through the motions, waiting on test results. Well, she has now gotten those results. Of course, we know she has breast cancer. And when she breaks that to them, Stormy jumps up and goes over to hug Kimmy. She's asking her, "How are you doing?" And Kimmy said she's been better. And honestly, I really wish they didn't make her do this. I wish they had just let Kimmy enjoy her night. She looked absolutely beautiful. I'm sure it took a lot to get her there. And I wish they did not make her relive that in that moment, especially as she's going through this. I think good moments mean even more than they would normally. And I just wish they would have let her have that. So then outside, we see Marsau having a conversation with Kimmy's son, Jalen. And he's talking about how it was a really nice turnout. And then he mentioned that Kimmy and Maurice were late. Jalen said, well, it's a good thing they're here at all. They're really going through a lot. And you can see in that moment, it dawned on Marsau to ask Jalen how he's doing. And thank God, because I was trying to figure out, when is anybody going to check on Jalen? Jalen said he really doesn't know how he feels. He doesn't know how to feel about it or how to process any of his feelings. Marsau asked him if he's scared, and he said of course he is, because this is something new. It's something he's never encountered, and he does not know what to expect. He said that as a man, he doesn't feel like he can show how he feels all the time, primarily because if he was showing how he felt all the time, he wouldn't be able to work at Black. And Marsau connects with him over his own experience of his mother having cancer. And he explained to him how he reacted the day that he got the news. And basically, he told him a story of giving in to his emotions and allowing his emotions to be and process. And he cried and closed the store that he was working in, because that's a lot to deal with. So we cut back to Kimmy talking to the group, and Stormy is asking Kimmy what stage she's in. Kimmy explains to her that she had 2 different lumps that were in stages 1B and 2A, which are both still considered pretty early stages, but that's why she's been distant. She told them about her whole treatment plan with having to go through chemo. But the silver lining is that Maurice has basically become her sidekick. He is her chauffeur and her caregiver, goes with her to all of her appointments, and he's helping her to process and accept everything that's going on with her. Destiny said to Kimmy, well, listen, I know you won't ask, but anything you need, I'm here for you. And Kimmy said, you know, all my friends have said that to me, because I'm just not the kind of person that reaches out and asks for help. She said she just goes home and Maurice takes care of her. And while it's a beautiful thing that she has Maurice and that Maurice has stepped up to the plate and that she has Maurice to be there for her, we go back outside to the conversation with Marsau and Jalen. And Jalen is talking about the lack of communication and how there's not really anybody there for him. He's saying how there's some days that he reaches out and he calls his mom. He can talk to her. She's in good spirits. And then there's other days that he can't get a response out of her or Maurice, and it hurts. That's a problem. I get that he's an adult, but he will always be her child. And it seems like he's being emotionally neglected, almost alienated in this process. Jalen goes on to say that before his mom met Maurice, he had never seen his mom cry, ever. The first time he saw his mother cry was on her wedding day. And the second time he saw her cry was on this show. He's basically only ever seen his mother express emotion on TV. So to see her This hurt, this upset, and this vulnerable is very difficult for him because prior to this show, he's never seen his mom express emotion. That is wild to me. He said growing up, they just never expressed emotions like that. So he saw his mom cry with the rest of the world. He had never seen it before. And it really brought me back to this moment at Jalen's housewarming. When Maurice and Kimmy were going back and forth at Jalen's housewarming before any of the guests arrived, and they were going back and forth about Kimmy's career, Jalen was standing there watching his mom interact with Maurice, and he was staring at her like he did not know this woman. I literally remember watching this scene thinking, he has never seen his mom this way. But I never imagined that it was to this level. He said it hurts so bad to see his mom vulnerable like this because he's never seen it. And then you couple that with sporadic communication, it's difficult for him. Like, I get wanting to protect your child from your emotions and not wanting your child to see you hurt or sad or upset. But this is coming across like he doesn't know her emotionally. And he seems to be dealing with that and almost suffering through that in silence and alone. I just wanted to hug him. And I know that Kimmy is going through a lot, but she has to connect with her son. Y'all cannot leave this young man just spinning in the wind while his only mother is going through cancer. He don't have siblings he can go to. Kimmy has said that she was a single mom and I don't think his dad was involved. He has nowhere to turn. Y'all have to include him. Marsau says that all he knows about emotions is that they should be experienced in truth. So if you're hurting and you need to cry, do that. Marsau says, I know that you're headstrong, like his mama, and I know that you're not going to ask for help, so I'll be checking on you. And I pray that Marsau does. Now, after all that, we go back to Mel and Martel hell. I'm assuming it's the next day or some day after this whole wine launch. Martel is headed to Mel's house, and he's saying how it was unfortunate that Mel did not attend his wine launch event, but that he understands that she has plenty of reason to be pissed with him. He said a lot has transpired over the last week or two, but he's headed to her house to discuss the kids moving up a grade and going to camp. This sounds like it could be a speakerphone phone call, but that's just me. So he gets there and Mel greets him at the door with a bag for the girls. He said, "Oh, you about to go?" She said, "Yeah, I am. And here's the bag that you asked for the girls." Martell looked confused. He said, I don't need no bag. She said, "Yeah. Ain't that what you came here for?" He said, "No, I came here to share a few things with you." She said, "You came here for what?" Martell said, "I came to talk about Milani moving up a grade and the kids going to camp, but don't keep me out here in this heat." She said, "Yeah, it's outside today." Martell said, "Fuck no. Well, I believe if that's the case. You invited me to that house. So what is it?" I said, "Child, here we go." Mel said, "We established that we can talk right here." Martell said, "You won't play with me like that." He walks off. She goes inside and closes the door. She said, "I'm not about to be following this little boy around." And in the confessional, she said, "I've never invited Martell into my home, and today is no different." She said, "This is a situation where I gave an inch by inviting him on the trip to Destin, and he think he's going to take a mile. But no, boo-boo, there's a new Mel in town. I set my boundaries, and I stick to them." Well, did you bring this new Mel back from Destin? Because you didn't give him an inch. You gave him hundreds of miles on a trip with you. And on top of the hundreds of miles, you took a few inches yourself. Remember the family meetings and the willing to fight over the pizza and the stretching and bending over on the beach and the walking around in a thong bathing suit in front of your ex-husband who you claim you don't want? You remember all that? But I guess now we're protecting energy and God said go. I guess back to being childish. Then, after she said she was not going to follow this man around, she goes outside looking for Martell with the same bag the man just said he didn't want. Y'all just determined to fight. As she's approaching his truck, she says, "I see you're calling me. Do you want the bag?" Martell put the window down. "I don't want no fucking bag." So he's pulling out the yard and she calls him back about, "Hey, Martell, I see you were calling me." Martell says, "So you're going to keep being immature because the thing is, when you come to my house, you're welcome to come inside. My thing is, don't be disrespectful when I come to your house. Don't be rude. Mel said, I'm not being immature or rude. Have we ever had a conversation in my house? Martell said, yeah, we have. She slid smooth past that. She act just like he ain't said nothing. She said, you act like I'm doing something different. We've talked on my back porch. So Martell gets to asking her, have you ever been to my house? And Mel tries to avoid the question. She said, but the thing is, we ain't at your house. He said, but the question I asked is, have you ever been to my house? Martell said, yes. Yes, you have. And when you came over, I invited you in because I'm not rude. Mel said, well, that's the thing. I don't care about being invited in. And he hung up on her. Martell in the confessional said, I thought we were at a place to be cordial, but once again, she's being petty. And he feels he's being treated in a disrespectful manner for the sake of something as childish as being able to say, I've never invited him into my house. And I said, well, damn, he know her, because that's damn near verbatim what she said in the confessional. And secondly, if she doesn't want to let you in her home, as petty as it may be, that's her right. You have to deal with her how she wants to be dealt with. And apparently that's from afar. If need be, schedule meetings to discuss the kids and do it on the phone. Get a mediator if y'all got to. Get public mutual exchange points. Grow up. Do anything but this bullshit. That way ain't nobody got to go to nobody's house. And if y'all quit sneaking and freaking, it'll clean up some of the mess in this energy. So Martell pulls off pissed off and turns right around and comes back. These people toxic as hell. He pulls back in front of her house, blowing the horn like a damn taxi. Martell said he was bothered by not being invited into her home because when she comes to his house, she's invited in. And he feels like there are certain respects that should be reciprocated. That's what pissed him off. But he remembered that they need to talk about the kids, and the kids come first, which must be their passcode to open the floodgates of they bullshit. Mel said in the confessional that it's frustrating to see Martell tuck his tail and bring his ass back to her house. She says she's so far removed from him and his antics that she doesn't know how to deal with his mood swings anymore. Martell said, what's the deal? We've been pretty cool and cordial. We went to Florida and had a good time. Why can't you extend to me the same courtesy that I extend to you coming inside? What's wrong with that? I don't want you. You don't want me. So what's the issue? Mel said, yeah, we did go to Florida and have a good time. But coming back from Florida, I was opened up to drama that I haven't experienced in a long time because I stay in my own world and I mind my business. And quite frankly, I had stayed away from you. So it was a whole lot of drama that I had to deal with that I have not had to deal with in a very long time. And while, yes, you did apologize to me and I appreciate the apology, it was still drama experienced and it was quite triggering. Martell said, but then don't hold me accountable for someone else choosing to be disrespectful. And he says in the confessional that the backstory to all of this is that Mel got COVID. And he shared with the baby mama that Mel got COVID because all of his kids commingle. So since all of the children spend time together, he had to share this information. He said, but Mel can't hold me accountable for somebody else choosing to be immature with that information. Mel said, I am going to hold you accountable, just like I did for all the years of my marriage that I was disrespected by this person and then you went and had a baby by him. I said, here we go. And kept with him even though they were disrespecting your wife because the things that she said only came out of your mouth. Martell said, but you can't hold me accountable for this person misusing that information. Mel said, but I am going to hold you accountable because the actions came from your mouth. You shared it with her. Martell said, well, hold on. If I'm not working and have to keep kids separated because I've been exposed to it by you, what's the problem with me explaining that? I'm not thinking this person is going to go online and weaponize that. Like, Mel said, well, why not when you've seen the pattern for years? What was the purpose of you sharing that information? Well, the explanation he just gave was the purpose for him sharing that information. And quite honestly, the explanation makes sense. If you have or have been exposed to COVID and therefore your children have or have been exposed to COVID, and if the children are going to be around or have been around this other child and that mom needs to know Either they've been exposed or they can't come around so that they're not exposed. That's something that has to be communicated. Now, him telling her, I called her your name. Now, that was the unnecessary part. Martell said, but you got diagnosed with the very next day. And 3 different times, I've had to quarantine with my kids because of you. You have exposed us to COVID multiple times. Mel said, so what? Girl, what? Mel said, so what? The kids have had to quarantine with me too. Martell said, yeah, because you brought COVID to me. Mel said, I didn't bring no COVID to you. I ain't even been around you. Martell looked at her like, fool. He said, you had to bring the kids to me. You brought the kids to me 3 different times and exposed me to COVID. And 3 different times we've had to quarantine because of you. And she wanted to skip that subject anyway, because the hell with the COVID. So basically, you can have COVID, expose everybody to COVID, but can't nobody talk about you having COVID and exposing everybody to it. Girl, put a mask on and go to hell. Mel said, and back to the you don't want me and I don't want you. You was just begging me to take you back Monday before last. But Mel, you know we soulmates. You know we belong together. You know y'all full of shit. It's like she's trying to get him to validate her and say to the public that he wants her. And it ain't never gonna happen. For somebody that says they're not bothered, they don't want this person, you do a whole lot of stuff that says, I want you to want me. Martell said, Mel, stop lying. Why would I want you? Mel said, ask yourself that. You was the one just saying we were soulmates. Martell said, you done been with too many because I know for me to want you. I said, shit. That was Mel's cue to exit stage left. She said, I'm not dealing with you. She started trying to overtalk him. Martell said, yeah, that's what you do. When the truth start coming out, you run. That's what you do. In the confessional, she's saying that he is the typical insecure boy. He is basically throwing the rock and hiding his hand. He's saying that he didn't say anything personally, but we know that Martell puts batteries in people's back, and he's been using the same sources to do his dirt for years. She said, you like drama, Martell Holt, except that own that you thrive off of drama. Well, y'all is 2 of a kind. Martell said if she's mad about what's going on social media, she should have told me that before I wasted my gas and came all the way over here. We can't even talk about our damn kids. The episode comes to an end with Mel in the confessional saying what she does know is that she's no longer one of his women for him to pit against another. So chill out when it comes to her. Well, baby, I'm gonna need you to come to that awareness. Because if you're not one of his women to be pitted against another anymore, then it should be of no consequence that he wants you back. If you are a good woman, if you worth your stock, if you worth your salt, they're going to always want you back. There's no need to announce this every chance you get. And there's no need to try to get that validation from him. Just go be the bad you're supposed to be. I'll be damned if I'm going to be running around here trying to convince the world that my ex wants me. A man I done had? The real flex is that you cannot get me back. There is no upgrade after me. That's the real flex. I don't need the flex that you so you will always want me. Get used to it and get on a new wave because this is tired. She said the joke is on him because she's moving on in life, and God knows, I hope so. Now it looks like next week begins the reunion saga, and it's about to be a time. It looks like Tisha is going to be telling Mel about her dark soul and being a devil in sheep's clothing. Mel and Martel are fighting, of course. Destiny is saying she got some tea on Mel that Mel don't want her to spill. Child, they said they having swinger sex parties at Maurice and Kimmy office. It's just Tisha done found pictures of some woman in Marsau's phone, and Kiki looks like she's showing up to tell the parts of the story Tisha ain't telling. Mel is accusing Destiny of being too chummy with Martell and saying she was calling his phone the other weekend at 1 and 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, girl, how you know that? Was you with him? Destiny seems to be convinced that Mel has hacked Martell's phone, but I think she might have hacked the lock to his house and hacked her way in the bed. That's how she might know about that phone ringing. And it looks like at some point Tisha will be making a dramatic exit. Child, it's about to be a time, okay? But that's it, that's all, and I ain't got no more. Thank you so much for coming down here listening to me and letting me get this off my chest. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, I love you and I mean it. Bye.